there's a new bit of functionality here that is maybe something that's the first sort of worldwide, but it's the ability to create a specification directly from the building information model. And we're not just talking about Microsoft Word documents or PDFs, but this is a proper sort of BIM-enabled specification which talks about property sets and objects and related objects. So the toolbar at the top, you can see we've got a new button, New NBS Create Specification, and it analyzes the model, and then it asks you, where would you actually like to create this specification? So it's going through all of the different objects, and I come now and I'm going to create the specification in demo, and I just call it demo spec. Now the relationship between the geometric model and the specification model is that it ignores the instances information. So if there's 13 or 14 doors in this model, but there are only two type, an external door and an internal door, it will add two type clauses to the specification. NBS Create is based around systems, so it finds a product by itself, it asks what the parent system is. So we've got a mirror here, and I'm adding it to a sanitary accessory system. And it's done all the analysis it needs to do. It's now a case of connecting to the NBS web server and pulling down the very latest specification clauses. And what it's doing is creating an outline spec from the National BIM Library objects. So we can see it's adding two types of windows, different floor covering systems, paving, turfing. And we get a screen pop up in a second, which will tell us that the specification has been successfully created. And we can see here we've got a ceiling system, a paving system. You can click on these. So there's the paving system, internal floor tiling system, to the different washrooms in the building. And it's telling me the specification has been created for the following location. It tells you also which objects are not National BIM Library objects, and we'll maybe come back to that in a moment and show how that can actually be linked. So I'm going to jump across now to NBS Create and open the specification that's just been created. So jump across to Demo, and there's Demo Spec. Click Open. And what we're going to see in NBS Create is all of the systems, all of the type objects that relate to the design that I've just put together. And this design can now flow through the timeline from sort of outline, concept stage, all the way through to as-built. So let's demonstrate that in terms of maybe the door sets here. I click Outline, and we can see the outline specification. At an early stage, you're not going to want to write a lot of detail about these items, but I could come down to the door sets, for example, and against door set type A, I could write in internal door, low spec. So maybe write a little bit about design responsibilities, maybe capture some of the client's brief, external door, high spec. So maybe if the partition system here was going to be contractor design, you can make a little note of that here, so when you come to write further content a few months later, you know exactly what the design responsibilities are, what the brief is. Okay, so we go to the next stage. Let's say come into here and look at the partition system. I can then specify this in terms of all of the component products that make up the partition system, or I can specify it in terms of its overall system performance. So I'm going to come through here, and you can pull this information in and say design in terms of structural, fire performance, acoustic performance. And as you make those decisions, it adds the very latest clauses from NBS and adds them to your specification. The same applies if you want to add the component products, or you want to specify workmanship, or you want to specify system completion. Let's just jump across the door and see that in a little bit more detail. What I'm going to do for the door set specify both the internal door and external doors in terms of its fire, acoustic and security performance. So here I am in door set type A. I can see the brief coming through saying it's the internal door, it's got to be low spec. And I'm very quickly going to now just add a 30-minute fire performance. I'm going to add 30 decibel acoustic performance. Again, you see the guidance synchronizes the right guidance at the right time. And a little bit further down, I'm going to add some basic security performance. Let's jump back across and do the same thing to the external door. So same principles apply. Go to the system performance drop down and invoke fire, acoustic and security performance. It brings in those very latest clauses. It maintains the relationship between the parent clause and the child clause. For this external door, I'm going to add sort of really high fire performance, high acoustic performance, and security rating 8. So you can see how more information is getting added to the specification as the project continues. And that can go from performance to full specification of all the products, the workmanship, system completion. In NBS Create, there's content for all of the main construction disciplines: architecture, mechanical, electrical, engineering, landscape architecture, structural engineering, minor civils.